There's a fire inside you. Do you feel it? A hunger, a rage, a deep, burning pain that never seems to fade. It's not a weakness, it's your strength. If you had a fucked up childhood, if you grew up surrounded by chaos, dysfunction, and pain, you've been through more than most people will ever understand. And that's your edge. You weren't born with the privilege of peace. You weren't handed love on a silver platter. Instead, you were raised in the trenches, with betrayal, neglect, or outright violence as your companions. Every day was a battle. Every smile was a mask. But here's the thing. You're still standing. You're here, aren't you? That's power. Not the kind of power that comes from winning the lottery or being handed success. No, your power is forged in the fires of hell itself. Look around at the world today. How many people complain about the smallest inconvenience? They crumble under pressure, break at the first sign of struggle. Not you. You've been dragged through the dirt, through the mud, through the worst kind of storms life could throw at you. And you're still alive. Most people run from their pain. They numb it, hide from it, drown it in distractions, social media, substances, meaningless relationships, but not you. You know better. You understand that pain is where the real power lies. If you had it easy, if life had coddled you, you'd be soft. You wouldn't be ready for the real world. But instead, life threw you into the pit early on. How do you use that pain? How do you turn your broken pieces into a weapon? First, you face it. Stop running. Look it in the eye. Every moment you suffered, every betrayal, every night you cried yourself to sleep, every time you felt worthless, it didn't break you. It built you. It made you sharper. The people who hurt you, they didn't know they were creating a beast. They thought they were breaking you, but they were forging iron. You extract strength from misery. Most people have no idea how strong you have to be to survive that kind of hell. They don't know what it's like to grow up constantly waiting for the next punch, whether it's literal or emotional. You do. And because of that, nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake you the way it shakes others. The storms that destroy them, you've already weathered worse. You've become a storm yourself. But here's the real question. Are you going to let it control you, or are you going to own it? Trauma can break you down, or it can build you into something unstoppable. It all depends on what you do with it. Are you going to be a victim for the rest of your life? Or are you going to be the one who refused to break? The one who took all that pain and turned it into pure, raw, unbreakable strength? There's a choice here, a hard choice. Do you let your past define you as someone who's been wronged, or do you define yourself as someone who rose from the ashes? It's easy to let the darkness consume you. It's easy to sit in the misery and wallow. It's easy to stay broken. But that's not who you are, is it? Deep down, you know you're meant for more. There's a version of you that uses the pain like fuel. A version of you that looks at the chaos, the trauma, the abuse, and says, "This made me invincible." What would happen if you stopped seeing yourself as someone who had things done to them, and instead saw yourself as someone who took control? What if you started seeing yourself as a warrior instead of a casualty? Yeah, your childhood was fucked up. So what? Does that mean the rest of your life has to be? Absolutely not. Those scars, those battle wounds, they're not weaknesses. They're badges of honor. They show that you've lived through the worst and come out the other side. Do you really think someone who had a perfect, cushy life has the same fire inside. They don't. They wouldn't last a day in your shoes. Here's the truth. The world owes you nothing. No one is coming to save you. But the real power comes when you stop expecting someone to. You don't need saving anymore. You're not that helpless child anymore. You're the one who gets to decide now. You get to decide how the story ends. Stop waiting for healing to come from the outside. Healing isn't going to come in a neatly wrapped package. Healing is going to come when you decide to face the darkest parts of yourself and transform them. It's about ownership. Owning every single ugly, painful part of your story and turning it into something no one can take away from you. Your strength. If you're feeling lost, if the weight of your past is dragging you down, here's what you do. Stop looking for answers outside yourself. Stop blaming the world, your parents, your circumstances. The sooner you realize that no one is coming to make it better, the sooner you realize you are the one who's going to make it better. 1. Stop running from your pain. The more you avoid it, the more it controls you. Face it. Sit with it. Learn from it. It's your greatest teacher. 2. Refuse to stay broken. If you've survived this long, you've already proven you're stronger than the circumstances that tried to destroy you. 3. Use your pain as fuel. When you're tired, when you're beaten down, remember that you've already survived worse. You're not like everyone else. You've built resilience from the ground up. The scars you carry, they're proof that you're a survivor. But now it's time to do more than survive. It's time to thrive. Take control of your life. Take that fucked up childhood and use it to become something no one can stop. Because in the end, you either let it break you, or you let it build you into something unbreakable. The choice is yours.